Well, how's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty darn good myself. I had a day I was very much looking forward to. You might have seen my video earlier that I sort of did a quick little takeout in the garden in my courtyard where my roses are starting to bloom, and I found it interesting. I wasn't expecting that, so it was a nice surprise this morning. And sort of got some things done, got some laundry done, and things like that. Things that a single senior guy like myself would need to take care of. And then I headed to my new doctor, and I was very excited for that because, again, this year I've had two doctors quit, um, which is unacceptable in my view. But then, I'm not young; I'm older, and you would never hear that. I don't ever hear that back when I was even in my teens or my 20s. Just doctors were doctors. They were dedicated to what they do. They were anyway. That's neither here nor there. Um, After that, I went off to play a little poker, and could have done better. Could have done a lot worse, but it's always enjoyable to get some poker in. And then tomorrow, always excited about Tuesdays these days. Is I've been taking and I have trouble saying the word jewelry making class, and I've been making these stretch beads, and I'm sort of happy with how they've been coming out. These I just did over the weekend. Very enjoyable, very relaxing. This one really came out bizarre. It's like white, black, and gray. Um, Enjoying that one. Not sure what I'm going to do with these things, but um, this was pretty nifty as well. And this one's out of rosewood. I found that really interesting to work with, and it'd probably be a lot more fun for me if I actually could make the beads. That's a whole different process. So just arranging the beads in the order that I think I'd like to see them. And then again, I found this guy in on Etsy, and he's because my mindset is I want to customize these things. Like if somebody's a Grateful Dead fan, like me, and wanted like a Steal Your Face logo on a couple of these beads. He created some Steal Your Face logos on wet transfers, and I'm saying oh a lot. I apologize for that. It's sort of late tonight. And then he also did some Las Vegas Raiders. I said, oh, again, I got to get rid of that, but I'll get rid of that when I learn my editing program. Um, and I got to do CapCut, and I just got to find someone to come sit with me for a couple of hours and teach me how to do it and do it over and over and over again until I get it. And that way I'll get rid of these things that are not as they should be, but we're going to make it better. So there I go again. And so he sent me the first sheets last week, and I attempted to apply some of them to some of the glass pieces and had trouble finding something to hold these things down. And I asked him today, what would you suggest? It's always the simplest things. It's always about keeping it simple. And he said, try some silly putty. Stick them in the silly putty. They ain't going to go nowhere. And then you can work with them to your heart's content. So excited about that. Excited about sharing it with the ladies in our bead making class tomorrow. Um, I'm really enjoying that very much. The other thing I wanted to show you, and I've been hanging on this since Father's Day. Kim and the girls sent me a really nice care package. I think I mentioned there were a whole bunch of beads in there and some of Elizabeth and Kim's cookies. And this was also in there. This is Skagit Valley Living, and that is the cover. And on the bottom, it says something to the effect, well, it says Baking Possibilities, the Hard History and Hustle of Kim and Elizabeth Rubenstein. And no one could have said it better, but that's Kim and Elizabeth up front and Christina and Robin in the back. And that's in front of Kim's house in LaConner, Washington. Very, very, very proud of all my girls. Robin and Christina, of course, run a postal mailing UPS store kind of a place, and they do quite well and are very vibrant in the community. And of course, Kim is a pioneer, her family, and yeah, it's all great. It's all great. So it was really neat. It's a great article, great art, just a great story, great picture, et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for tonight, I believe. I will get back with you hopefully tomorrow. Oh, I should backtrack a little bit since I sort of didn't do anything over the weekend. Um, Friday went out and played poker, and can you imagine that? And came home and just was sort of a weird scenario. And but I was so I thought it was like late at night. It was time to go to sleep. I laid down on the sofa. Actually, I got to back that up a little bit. What had happened was I did not play poker on Friday. I stayed home, did some things, sort of phased out, and then lay down on the couch. And I woke up and I thought it was late at night, and it wasn't, but I thought it was. And fixed dinner, winds up it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. Could not. What am I thinking? What am I doing? So effectively, I had to reset my day because I'm going like, so how am I going to get a full night's sleep if it's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like done for today, kind of a thing. So I had to reset, and all these things, and so I wound up sleeping until around 11 o'clock the next morning on the 4th of July. Now, on the 4th of July, let me share this with you. On PBS, which I'm a big fan, for Antiques Roadshow, and some of the Ken Burns things, they had two of the most amazing concerts. One was the big one on the Washington Mall that created some controversy because certain artists, Bruce Springsteen, dropped out because they didn't want to be associated with anything that Donald Trump does. Can't cure stupid, can you? This was probably the most incredible concert. It was hosted by the guy from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the dancing guy, and he does Dancing with the Stars. He's very funny. He did a great job of hosting this concert, and it was cool, and it was just amazing. And then they had another concert from Boston, and I'm still trying to find that one because I want to re-watch that. They had a couple of ladies that did a duet in this one, and it hung me out there. It was so good. So all you artists, I know you got these artists that dropped out of the show for their political beliefs, idiots, because they didn't want to be, instead of being associated with the 250th birthday of the United States of America, they were concerned about their political feelings about Donald Trump. Again, no cure for stupid because they missed out. They missed out. What an incredible couple of concerts these things were. Anyway, it wound up being a great holiday because I had gotten plenty of rest leading into it, and things got back to as they should be on Saturday night and Sunday, although I sort of wandered outside and listened to the fireworks. There weren't a lot of fireworks going around here in Sun City, Summerlin. Like we're all 55 plus, and I'm 20 years almost past the 55. So have a great day. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you visiting. Tell your friends. My email is 10301don@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. I am getting a few comments on the videos on the YouTube channel, and I promise you that I'm trying to learn how to do this CapCut video editor, and I will get it done. And it might be sketchy in the beginning, just like everything else I tend to get involved in, but the end game, I'll get it done.